G'day guys, ChampChong here with a different type of video today. It's going old school. We're just gonna sit here, have some gameplay in the background, and talk about video games and the future of what we could possibly get. Now, the gameplay that you are seeing on screen here is from Battleborn. I was lucky enough to visit 2K Games and play this game and capture it for you guys. So that's what you are seeing in the background, and it is pretty awesome, and it will actually come into play in this conversation of this video, so there's a reason I chose this gameplay. Now, the thing is, if you do end up enjoying this video, please remember to smack the like button, but our topic today is PlayStation, Xbox, and the PC. Consoles versus the PC. Now, how will this play and what is actually going to happen over the next few years is getting very, very interesting, I must say, because if you look at the recent news as to what's been happening, before all this upgradable console stuff that's been happening and all the VR and the cross-play that's happening between PlayStation, Xbox and PC and PlayStation and PC, especially with Rocket League being that prime game that is setting the example for all of that. The big thing that came into play before all this was a thing called the Steam machine, and that's been happening over the last couple of years or so. And if you've noticed the trend, PCs have for some reason decided to go more similar towards console and be more console gamer friendly, and then now we're seeing the trend that consoles might want to become more PC-like, and I find that quite odd. The main thing is, especially just recently, we've had Phil Spencer from Xbox mention that they might want to do some upgradable Xbox stuff. And then also there are these rumors going around now, especially around GDC, which is the Game Developers Conference, that there may be a 4K PS4 that will be named the 4.5 or whatever. You know, you guys know, I made a video earlier today / yesterday, which you guys can check out, that goes more in depth with that stuff. But basically an upgradable PlayStation 4 and an upgradable Xbox One, where you will be able to have like an external video card or something along those lines, where it'll be more powerful, but it's not going to be a completely new system possibly. So it's quite an interesting topic that we do have here. And one of the key things that is pushing all this is definitely the emergence of VR. Yes, virtual reality has been big recently. It's a big talking point. A lot of people are getting into it. You guys can see, obviously, the Oculus Rift has been something that has been talked about for the last couple of years, and it's finally coming out. Then you've got the HTC Vive, which has just taken off, and it looks amazing, and personally, it is my favorite of everything that is out there in VR world. But then you've also got the console version, which is the PlayStation VR. And that thing is very, very interesting itself, because you are using this sort of external piece of hardware that connects your VR to the PS4 so that it can actually run, because you're processing all this power that's going to the headset and able to run games at 60 FPS all the time. And it gets very, very complicated there, which also brings up the topic of an upgradable PS4.5 in 4K possibly. So yeah, it's all these things that are coming into play with the PC and console talk, especially with the VR, as I said, the cross-play, the upgradable consoles now because of those things happening. And a lot of people are wondering how this is all actually going to play out. And here are some of my opinions. Now, for the upgradable consoles, I honestly don't see them working out. If you look back to the N64, you could get additional stuff that could be added to the system, but that would cost you like 20 to 50 bucks at most, and that wouldn't really do anything. It would allow you to just get a little more performance boost in the FPS, but aside from that, I don't see them actually bringing out something that's going to be extra towards your system, especially a PS4, which already costs you about $400. Why are you going to add an external video card that's going to cost you maybe, I don't know, another $400? At this point, why aren't you just buying yourself a PC that you can upgrade over time and isn't going to cost extra, because not everything is going to be Sony branded or Microsoft branded if Microsoft does it too. And one major point that we can also look at with these upgradable consoles is looking at systems such as gaming laptops. Now, Razer, Alienware, and I think Asus too, maybe some other manufacturers out there, have laptops where they are pretty powerful, but on top of that, You get graphics amplifiers externally that upgrade the hardware of the system itself. Now, these aren't too big or anything, and it is a portable system that you're using, so it does kind of get annoying at times. But with a console such as a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One, those things sit in your living room, so if you were just to attach something to it, such as an external graphics amplifier or anything like that, it's not going to be a big deal. But the thing that really comes into play here is what happens when a developer really needs to make a game such as Uncharted. What if all of a sudden Naughty Dog are like, hey, we have all this extra power, we can make our game look even better than what it already does, which Uncharted 4 honestly looks incredible. But the thing is, as I said, all of a sudden they have all this extra juice, but what happens to those gamers that don't have the PS4.5? It just gets really confusing there. Also, on top of that, crossplay gets really confusing because you have, let's say, a PS4.5, a PS4, an Xbox One, an Xbox 1.5, let's call it, and then you have a PC and you have all these other PCs, and you're playing, let's say, Rocket League, or even Counter-Strike would get insane, or a game like Black Ops 3 where you've got guys playing on different systems all over the place. What does a developer do? How do they even go into the development process going, hey, we have all these different systems all playing on one network now together somehow, and you've got mouse and keyboard advantage over controller advantage, and there's just all this mess happening. And that's one thing that I wanted to talk about right here. As you can see right here, this gameplay, I am playing on PC. I'm actually using a mouse and keyboard, and there are also people playing on PC, but they're using controllers connected to the PC in this, and they're at a slight disadvantage depending on how good I am or how bad I am with a mouse and keyboard compared to how good or how bad they are with the controller. So it all comes into play. Where does this all end? It's such a confusing topic to really talk about, and there's so much to talk about here, and I honestly think that the way everything is right now, it should stay like this. You should have a simple console on Xbox and a simple console from PlayStation. So nothing should change there. Maybe every 4 years or so they should upgrade them instead of waiting every 10 years or something like that, because technology is moving so quickly these days compared to what it used to move when we did have systems around for 10 years, that you look at phones, they upgrade every year or two, 6 months sometimes, which is insane to even think about. So why not see consoles upgrade every 2 to 4, I'd say 4 or 5 years, because that seems more logical, since not everyone will want to upgrade every 3 years or less, because it seems like such an expense, unlike a phone you're paying off monthly. But the other thing on top of that is you've also got to think about the developer. They start to learn the console, the system that they're developing for. They can't suddenly go, oh, the PS4 is done in 3 or 4 years, we've got to now upgrade and go to the PS5 or PS4.5, and then this development cycle gets lost. And it's just a huge mess in my opinion. I think what they should do is definitely stay with the PS4, stay with the Xbox One, stay with the PC, and then when it comes to crossplay, it should be casual games such as a Rocket League or a Battleborn, in a sense, can do that maybe, because it's not so precise like a Counter-Strike or a Black Ops 3, but it still is in some sense. Like Overwatch is another game that is being brought onto consoles on top of just originally planned just for PC. So there are a lot of games that are doing this, that are on old systems, and they can be played together if it is allowed to. So all in all, I would love to see everything stay the way it is. There's a lot of talk of these upgradable consoles and crossplay right now, especially with virtual reality coming into play. We're needing more and more power, and I don't know if virtual reality is going to be just a fad that is around for a little while, like 3D TV, or if it's going to be the next big thing. We're not sure at this point. It's one of the beauties of being in this age of technology. Everything is always evolving. Some things get left behind and some things should explode, like touchscreen phones and things like that. So personally, I think Rocket League is a great example. It should be the one set there. We should test that game to see how crossplay works. I think it's a very even playing ground for that game. It works on both mouse, keyboard, and controller, but I personally prefer controller for that game, even though I'd prefer mouse and keyboard on most games. But finally, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. This is a different sort of video to what I normally do. I don't really just dive into a topic like this. Let me know if you guys would also like to see more videos like this where I really talk about what's happening in the games industry, because recently I've been traveling quite a bit, went to Sydney, went to London, so I've missed a lot of stuff that has happened in the gaming world recently, so I thought, why not just sit down, talk to you guys about this kind of stuff, and yeah, it's been a very, very interesting week, and hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and if you did, please remember to smack the like button, and I will see you guys in the next video.